Greetings, salutations, and good now. I'm astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major, helping you to do it major with the insights of astrology. Welcome to our weekly forecast for April 13th, all the way up until the 19th of April 2025. I switched the dates around. This week is going to be a week charged with deep transformations, emotional revelations, and, well, bold new beginnings. You see, we are kicking off things with what I consider one of the most powerful full moons of 2025, activating the Libra-Aries axis, where relationships, harmony, pleasure, even justice is meeting self-awareness, and all wounds are finally brought to light for healing, because this full moon in Libra is going to be opposing Sun in Aries, which currently conjuncts Chiron. Venus goes direct, Mercury changes signs, Mars goes into Leo, and Sun is going to be shifting into grounded Taurus. With so many movements in the sky, I know this week is going to be a busy week, all about processing emotions and having emotional intelligence, owning your truths, healing in some way, shape, or form, and stepping into empowered actions. In this forecast, I'm going to guide you through each day and explain key alignments in simple terms and help you to understand how to work with the energies and not against it. We'll break down the elemental and modal themes, explain what are the different aspects like squares, trines, conjunctions, oppositions, and even, get into some practical advice or affirmations that could keep you aligned all week through. If this sounds great, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, even smash the subscribe button, fasten your seatbelts, and let's get this train on the road. Toot, toot. So we kickstart this week on Sunday the 13th, where we are experiencing a beautiful full moon in Libra. I absolutely love Libras. Our Venus ruled full moon. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, art, relationships, and value. And so Libra is this zodiac or this energy of balance, fairness, harmony, even justice per se, but more so diplomacy, where it's a win-win situation for everyone. Sounds great, right? However, full moons always oppose the Sun, and so there's like a tug of war between Aries Sun, which is predominantly about me, myself, and I. The Aries mantra is I am, and so the Sun in Aries is bringing a lot of vitality and overall energy to self. Libra moon, which is opposing, would be about others and how we could share and care for others and have harmony within relationships. Chiron is conjuncting the Sun in Aries, Chiron being the wounded healer. And so Chiron here suggests wounds, traumas, insecurities, or even mistakes surrounding or around self-worth, assertiveness, or even, past failures or insecurities. Things that you could possibly change or could have changed, or things that you had no control over. So maybe someone pissed you off as a kid, or you're not as tall as your older brother. Maybe your skin complexion is a bit different, and that could be a trauma or a wound or some sort of insecurity for you. And so every time we have, this Sun conjuncting Chiron, it highlights, the wounds, the insecurities, or even open up possibilities for you to create wounds through mistakes and errors or embarrassing situations. However, this full moon in Libra is like balancing the scales, and it allows us to heal and, bring harmony to those conflicting issues surrounding our personal identity. So this full moon on a personal level is, asking how could we take care of self, but how could we maintain harmony within relationships, harmony with others, harmony within the home, and just overall peace. It's like, again, our ego and the heart is at a clash. They both want attention. And so we need to be kind to ourselves, especially when these old wounds are resurfacing, and show ourselves some grace as we heal from these insecurities or traumas, whatever they might be. Also happening on the 13th of April, Venus goes direct in Pisces. So Venus has been in retrograde in Pisces for some time, but yesterday, on the 12th, around the 11th, 12th, she stood still in Pisces. And now she's about to make a forward move. The focus is shifting towards clarity when it comes to relationships and values. This transition is going to encourage just that forward momentum, or moving forward when it comes to a renewed sense of compassion. Venus in Pisces, Venus loves to be here where the artistic expression and the creativity is bountiful, compassion and love is boundless. And so we just mentioned about old wounds and traumas and insecurities, but Venus going direct, we could really brush over all of this with just a renewed sense of self-worth. And I think that's what this full moon is all about, just a renewed personal identity, a time where we could, increase our self-worth in some way, shape or form. And that might be by just overcoming, some insecurities and becoming a stronger person. So Venus is going to go direct, which is beautiful. Later on the 13th, later in the evening, not sure what time exactly, but later in the evening, Moon is going to enter Scorpio. So beautiful Libra moon, balancing out the scales, and then the moon enters Scorpio, which signals a bit of an intense period. Scorpio is all about power and control, and Scorpio, the zodiac sign, could be quite intense. It's ruled by Mars, okay, the planet of war. And so anytime we have a moon there, Moon seeks to, Scorpio is seeking to take power and control, and Moon speaks more towards our mood and what we want. So, on the 13th in the evening, Moon enters Scorpio conjuncts Lilith, intensifying emotions and bringing subconscious desires to the surface. This alignment is going to invite us to be quite introspective as we explore the hidden facets of our psyche and of our mind. Scorpio, fixed water sign, again, it's intense, emotional, and truth-seeking. It doesn't like to be in shallow water, so we could see ourselves diving into, deep conversation or just deep ends, if you know what I mean. On the surface, Lilith represents rebellion and taboo desires. Spiritually, she helps us to reclaim suppressed power, especially feminine and intuitive energies. And so you could see that this is a time that's going to be, sensitive, intuitive, emotional. Great time to spend time, connecting with a loved one. We have Venus going direct. But we could also be spending time in solitude, detoxing and noticing where you feel emotionally reactive, or where you're just feeling, this emotional energy, and you could just work through it during that point in time. All right, Monday, April 14th, 2025, more or less the same, but on the more side, as we have the Scorpio moon making some harmonious trines. All right, so the Scorpio moon is going to be trining with this Pisces stellium. We didn't talk a lot about the Pisces stellium, but we have Venus going direct in Pisces, we have Mercury direct in Pisces, we have Saturn in Pisces, we have the node in Pisces, we also have Neptune in Aries, but close degrees to all of those guys back in Pisces. So it's creating this major stellium. And the moon, well, the moon is going to be trining up with this stellium. Yeah, again, moon being in a water sign, fixed water, it's going to be trining with another water sign, which is the Pisces energy, connecting effortlessly here, bringing emotional clarity. You could even say forgiveness, compassion, and just, having inner peace. Again, trines or harmonious flow is like two friends helping each other, and so things feel natural, supported, and there's an easy flow. Hopefully there's an easy flow of positive energy. However, we need to remember that Scorpio likes to seek power and control. Hidden desires are going to be explored during this time because we do have a conjunction with Lilith. So the Scorpio moon continues to influence the emotional landscape, fostering depth and transformation. The harmonious trine with the Pisces Aries stellium is facilitating a certain flow, of intuitive insight and emotional healing. This alignment also supports creative endeavors. We do have a bit of fire. We have Mercury and Venus, Saturn, Pisces, and so we could see boundaries being dissolved and opening up creativity on a boundless level. There's also a creativity that allows us to solve problems and bring resolutions to any lingering emotional issues or just issues in general. Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces, but again, creativity becomes boundless with this Piscean energy, and so we need to find creative solutions to our problems. And Monday, we do have the power to do that. Scorpio moon, better believe it. Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, we have Moon Mars energy boost, and we also have the Saturn and North Node alignment. So the Scorpio moon continues to persist. Sorry, but we're going to be having some interesting trines, an interesting series of trines on Tuesday. Now in astrology, trines are usually positive aspects. It's like two friends helping each other. Everything is natural, a free flowing of energy, because we're dealing with the same element. So moon is in Scorpio, and it's going to be having some interesting trines with the Pisces space, where you have Mercury, Venus, you have the node, and you also have Saturn. So some interesting trines there. The moon is also going to be trining Mars in Cancer, late degrees Cancer, and so bringing in all of this free flowing emotional energy. Might be a very emotionally chaotic day. However, we do have Saturn there, bringing in some maturity, bringing in some discipline, some grounding, and even courage. So we have emotional courage. I don't know if that makes sense, being emotional but still courageous, and just steady grounded. This is the time to act on what matters. We are in the last of the Aries season. We are winding down, and so we're still trying to make big bold moves while we're in the Aries season, while we still have this vitality under the sun. Again, the moon is going to have a series of interesting trines, just enhancing our emotional intelligence and that flow of communication, whether it is the best communication that we have or whether the communication is creative. You know what I mean? Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces. Mercury dealing with our thinking, communication, and logic and stuff. It doesn't really like to be there, but we are coming up with creative ways of getting our point across and for solving problems. We have Saturn conjuncting the North Node, which is actually in alignment with all of the energy right now. We know that Saturn, again, deals with structure and organizing and helps us to build. The North Node being our soul's direction or our spiritual path or spiritual journey, or just the direction where our life should be heading in. And so Saturn bringing in, the structure, the discipline, the organization around where our soul or our life is going, which is a great aspect. And so we welcome these two alignments and aspects on April the 14th. Again, this conjunction with Saturn is just signaling a pivotal moment for our karmic growth, and establishing long-term goals is critically important. So if you missed the Gregorian calendar, the new year, if you missed the spring equinox, this full moon in Libra time or season, it's a good time to align with your life path, align your long-term goals with the life that you want to live. Does it make sense? All right, so focus on steady progress. Take those small steps towards where you're trying to go. All right, Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. In my eyes, I think this signals the sticky period. I mean, this week is just going to be intense overall, but from the 16th, things get a bit, well, let's say rapid and fast. Mercury is going to enter Aries, so you need to think fast, speak bold. All right, Mercury in Aries, thoughts are becoming quicker, speech is becoming bolder or emboldened, and you may feel more impatient. Yeah, Mercury is sped up in Aries, and so it makes us a lot more decisive, a lot more impulsive, especially when it comes to communication. We're just quick to the punch. Aries is all about attacking first and then asking questions after, and so Mercury might want to just be a bit more direct, even sometimes blunt, but this is great for starting things and pitching ideas and just speaking up for yourself. But pause before reacting to anger or malice. Say what you mean, but don't burn any bridges during this point in time. All right, Mercury's transition into Aries is marking a shift towards directness, and assertiveness. So after this whole period of introspection, Mercury was in Pisces, where you had to tiptoe and dilly-dally around the room and find a creative way of addressing issues. Well, Aries is about to be direct. Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of clarity when it comes to communicating and just a proactive mindset. This is an opportune time to initiate projects and to just express ideas with confidence. Also a great time to address any lingering issues and conflict. Now again, not with anger, but Aries is just bringing a bit more boldness and confidence to the way how we think and share these ideas. Now, on Thursday the 17th, April 2025, you need to just forget everything I just said for the previous day, because Mercury is going to be conjuncting Neptune. Oh, Jesus. All right, so Neptune is like the fog machine of the zodiac. That's like the dream weaver of the zodiac. If you know anything about Neptune rules fantasy, illusions, dream, maybe deception, the media, stuff to do with our psyche. It's not really clear or apparent, but it could become. And so Mercury conjuncting Neptune in Aries again might just bring back a bit more dreaminess to our thoughts, may even bring back some fog. It's ideal for art, music, vision boards, spiritual reflection, I guess just creativity. But we are also speaking about a creativity that we could use to solve problems, so our communication and our thinking, I don't want to say it's going to be foggy, but let's just say unorthodox, because Neptune is bringing in a type of novel fire that Again, it governs dreams, illusions, divine connection. It brings inspiration of what could be. It gives us ideas of upgrades or how we could make things, even more superb and more idealistic. And so, great for creative problem solving, and just using all of that divine or spiritual or just creative juice to enable us to make bold moves. I was just trying to think about Aries real quick, because again, Aries season is about bold moves, and the 17th of April takes us 27 days or 27 degrees into the Aries season. So you could see we have this last 3-degree orb, and we're just trying to smash out as much stuff as we could get done. So again, with this Neptune conjunction, could it open up a level of creativity to get us through this week? Friday, April 18th, 2025, Mars enters Leo. We got more fuel for the fire. All right, so Mars enters Leo. Passion, pride, performance. This is a great time to lead, create, and show up boldly and loudly. Leo is fixed fire, and we know that fire could, warm up things, make people entertain, make people happy, but it could also burn and scorch. Fire is very creative and confident, and so Mars in Leo is just, bringing in a lot more fuel. It could make us dramatic, expressive, and just speak from the heart space. Think about bold moves, think about grand gestures, think about standing out. It's fixated fire, so it loves to have the stage, it loves to have the attention, and it just captivates the room, captivates the audience. So this energy is about art, it's about performance, it's about theatrics, it's about leadership, it's about bold moves and bold statements, even if it's your wardrobe, what you're wearing. Not to be too egotistical or big-headed or anything, but Mars in Leo just brings a lot more drive and energy, even aggression, because Mars is, the planet of war, violence, aggression. And so, Mars entering Leo is infusing this energy with passion and the desire for recognition. I don't know why the song Eye of the Tiger, the Eye of the Tiger, but just that energy of just being bold and strong and not afraid at all. This transit encourages, again, just bold actions and bold moves, creative pursuits. However, it's important to be mindful, of being too egotistical or ego-driven. Again, we are going to want to have the center stage, but so does everyone else, and the Libra moon was already showing us how to be fair within relationships and how to have harmony and balance. So we need to, exude a bit of, balance and fairness at this point in time. But yes, Mars is going to be in Leo for some time, about 2 months. We need to do a deep dive on this one. But on the 18th of April, Mars entered Leo, and so expect the fire to turn up. All right, if you get a bit more angry, aggressive, or just feel, a bit more driven, blame it on Mars. Again, Leo, I think Leo gets a bad rap of being the lion, and it's supposed to be so strong and courageous. But Leo is very entertaining, very entertaining, very dramatic and performative at the same time. So perform a little, This week is going to wind down to I don't even have my days. Aries. We're going to be going into the Taurus season. Saturday, April 19th, 2025, Sun enters Taurus. And that's it. The Aries season is done. Like, done up, done and dusted. So we literally have like 7 days to be making those bold moves. I have so much things I need to do in these next 7 days before we enter the Taurus season. But on the 19th, or around the 19th, 20th, Sun is going to enter Taurus, where time is going to literally slow down. Okay, that's just a myth. But this is the time to slow down and ground yourself. Yeah, Taurus season is about Taurus, the zodiac values consistency, longevity, hard work, but it's also a time of pleasure and where we could really expound on our self-worth. When the Sun moves into Taurus, it immediately squares off with Mars in Leo. A fiery tension between our desires and stoic or disciplined action. Yeah, you may feel the pull and push between wanting to take rest and wanting to take action, because Sun in Taurus is a bit slow. Yes, it works very hard and it's very consistent, but you're a bit more patient with your work. So Sun moves into Taurus, emphasizing stability or the need for stability and even sensuality, as Taurus loves to be pleasured and appreciated. Also a connection to the material world. I don't want to say Tauruses are materialistic, but again, anything to do with value. So things of material or even immaterial. Taurus is all about, improving one's worth. So Taurus encourages a steady approach to life, valuing comfort and persistence. Shortly after, the Sun is going to square off with Leo, potentially leading to conflict between your desire for security and just the urge for like self-expression and expressing yourself. Again, Mars is going to be in Leo, which could be dramatic, performative, and very courageous. And so balancing these energies is going to be very important, and it's going to require a certain level of emotional maturity, intelligence, but also patience and self-awareness. The self-awareness that we would have been accumulating throughout the week, with the full moon conjuncting Sun, Chiron, the whole shebang. That's why astrology is quite fascinating, Yeah. This week unfolds a rich list of astrological events. Starting off with a transformative full moon in Libra, which opposes Chiron in Aries. Venus turns direct. We have Mercury entering Aries. There's like a collective push towards clarity and action. We have the Scorpio moon that is going to be making some strong trines with what's happening over in Pisces. That Pisces stellium is going to be also trining Mars when it's in its last degrees of Cancer, opening this harmonious flow for healing and just creativity, a certain level of creativity that is not only good for arts but for problem solving as well. And so I kind of see this week as the final week of the Aries season. Aries is about making bold moves to push yourself forward. And so we have a lot of Venus going direct. Chiron is going to be showing us some wounds, but Venus helping us to love ourselves and value ourselves. We have all this stuff in Pisces, opening up, I guess, forgiveness channels, but also again that creativity to help us solve problems. At some point we're going to have some interesting trends with Uranus, sudden changes, innovations. So I feel like everything is just giving us all of this energy for a final push through this Aries season, so we could get into Taurus season with expanded self-worth, a greater self-value. We also having some aspects with the nodes to help us, fine-tune our spiritual goal, our spiritual path, So this week is going to be quite dynamic. Navigating these energies is going to we're going to need balance, definitely. Libra moon, Libra full moon, introspection. So we have all of this water, but intentional action is what is going to be needed most of all. All right, major farewell until we meet or greet again. You've got the eye of the tiger, the will of the fight. I don't know the lyrics. Pushing up against every rival. I need to Google the lyrics, but you got the eye of the tiger. I believe in you. All right, major farewell until we meet or greet again. I'm Astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major, helping you to do it major using the insights of astrology. Have a great week, people, and see you in the next video.